Two sisters, same city, same profession, nearly identical salaries their entire working lives. At 65, one of them is fully retired. Her house is paid off, she takes her grandchildren on trips. Last month, someone offered her a part-time consulting role, and she turned it down, not because she couldn't use the money, but because she genuinely didn't need it. She sleeps well, she eats well. Her biggest financial decisions these days is whether to renovate her kitchen or take that trip to Europe first. Her sister is still working 3 days a week at 65. She rations her medication refills. She sold her car last year to cut costs. Her children think she's doing fine because she hasn't told them the truth. She lies awake some nights running the same numbers over and over, hoping they come out different. Same income, same city, same starting point at 40. The gap between these two women was not created by a bad investment, a divorce, or a medical emergency. No dramatic moment separates them. What separates them is something far more uncomfortable. Completely normal decisions made during one single decade that felt reasonable at the time. Their 40s decided everything. And if you're in your 40s right now, approaching them, or even past them, what I'm about to show you is something most people only understand when it's too late to act on it. Now, before you assume one sister picked better stocks, that's not what happened. Before you think one had a higher salary or fewer expenses or got lucky with an inheritance, none of that is true either. Both women worked the same years, raised similar families, had similar budgets. The difference came entirely from decisions that looked normal, decisions their friends were making too, decisions that felt not just justified, but genuinely smart at the time. That's what makes this so dangerous. You don't feel it happening. Today, I want to show you exactly what those decisions are, why your 40s carry a kind of financial weight that no other decade does, and what you can still do about it, wherever you currently are. Here's why your 40s are different from every other decade of your financial life. 3 forces collide during this period in a way that never happens again. Miss the window, and the math simply doesn't work in your favor anymore, no matter how hard you try to catch up later. The first force is peak earning power. For most people, income reaches its highest point somewhere between their early 40s and mid-50s. The aggressive raises of your 30s slow down, but the absolute dollars are higher than they've ever been. You have more raw material available for building wealth right now than you ever had before, and more than you're likely to have again. The second force is the compounding window. At 40, you still have roughly 25 years before traditional retirement age. A dollar invested today becomes approximately $4 by the time you retire, at historical market returns. Wait until 50, and that same dollar becomes 2.5. Wait until 55, and it barely doubles. Every year that passes, the multiplier shrinks, and it doesn't come back. Your 40s are the last decade where compounding still has enough time to do the heavy lifting for you. The third force is something I call the expense illusion. By your 40s, many of the costs that were crushing you in your 30s have started to stabilize. Children are more independent, the house is established. For the first time in your adult life, there's genuine breathing room in your budget. The question isn't whether that margin exists. The question is where it goes. More income than ever before, enough time for compounding to still matter enormously, and actual financial margin for the first time. This alignment doesn't repeat. The people who capture it retire with freedom. The people who miss it spend their final decades doing quiet, painful math. Let me show you what I mean in actual numbers, because this is where most people's stomachs drop. Take someone who turns 40 with around $85,000 saved and a household income of $90,000. 3 paths, same starting point. Person A saves 15% consistently through their 40s and keeps going. By 65, they're sitting at approximately $1.3 million. Full retirement, real options, genuine peace of mind. Person B saves only 5% in their 40s. The lifestyle kept absorbing the rest. Then panics at 50 and pushes contributions to 20%. They end up with around $720,000, a modest retirement, workable but tight. Person C barely contributes in their 40s. Life was expensive, opportunities came up, the house needed upgrading. They try aggressively to recover in their 50s. They retire with around $480,000, and the projections show the money running out before they do. The gap between person A and person C is over $800,000. Same income, same number of working years, same market. One variable: what happened between 40 and 50? And by the time most people realize which path they're actually on, closing that gap completely is no longer mathematically possible. So what creates the gap? It's not one dramatic mistake, it's 4 quiet ones. The first is the house upgrade. Your 40s bring a completely understandable urge to move somewhere nicer. You've worked hard, the kids need space, you've earned it. And the mortgage payment feels manageable now that your income is higher. What most people never calculate is the compounded cost of that decision. Upgrading your home and adding even $1,500 to your monthly expenses means that money isn't compounding for 25 years. That monthly difference, over time, costs somewhere between $800,000 and $1.2 million in retirement wealth. Most people think they're buying a bigger house. They're actually buying a much smaller retirement. The second is the prestige vehicle. Your income in your 40s finally makes a nicer car feel affordable. The payment fits the budget. But 2 premium vehicles instead of 2 practical ones replaced every few years can cost $300,000 or more in retirement wealth across the decade. Not because of the price tag, because of what that money stops doing the moment you spend it. The third is funding your children's lifestyle over your own future. Private schools, elite programs, expensive universities, parent loans. Every amount redirected from your retirement to your child's education is money that cannot compound for you. Your children will have decades to build their own wealth. You will not get another compounding window. The most financially responsible thing you can do for your family is protect your retirement first. The fourth is social comparison spending. Your 40s are when peer pressure becomes genuinely dangerous. Colleagues renovate, friends buy investment properties, neighbors upgrade. The social cost of not keeping up feels real and immediate. The financial cost of keeping up is catastrophic and delayed. The families who retire comfortably almost always describe swimming against this current throughout their 40s and feeling slightly awkward about it the whole time. Now, let me show you what this actually looks like in 2 real lives. Amara and Sadia, both 40, both with household incomes around the same level, both with similar savings, similar families, similar starting points. Amara's husband wants to upgrade their home. The kids are growing, they've worked hard. Every reason makes sense. The upgrade increases their monthly costs significantly, and they reduce retirement contributions from 14% down to 5%, temporarily, they say. 2 years later, both cars get replaced with newer models. The children move to a private secondary school. When the eldest gets into university, Amara takes a loan rather than ask her daughter to consider a more affordable option. At no point during her 40s does Amara feel reckless. Every single decision had a reason, a good, loving, logical reason. At 50, her retirement savings have barely moved, despite 10 years of contributions and a decent market. The lifestyle absorbed everything. She spends her 50s trying to recover, maxing contributions, cutting where she can, working harder. At 65, she has a number that sounds significant until she runs the projections and realizes the money likely runs out before she does. She will probably need to sell the house, keep working, or both. Sadia also heard the argument for the bigger house. Her husband wanted it too. But Sadia had done the math. She understood what that monthly difference would become over 25 years of compounding. So they stayed. It felt like a sacrifice. Their friends moved to nicer neighborhoods. They stayed. Reliable used car when the old one needed replacing, honest conversation with her children about university costs. Both kids found good options they could genuinely afford. Throughout her 40s, Sadia felt the quiet discomfort of restraint. She questioned herself sometimes. Her lifestyle looked modest compared to her peers. At 50, her retirement savings had nearly tripled. At 65, she retired 2 years early, fully, freely, without doing the math every morning. Amara didn't make foolish decisions. She made normal ones. And that is the most frightening part of this entire story. Because here's the thing nobody says out loud. The real reason your 40s are so financially dangerous isn't lack of knowledge. It's a feeling, a completely human feeling that after 20 years of working and sacrificing and building, you have finally earned the right to live well. And in a way, you have. But here's where that feeling misleads you. The enjoyment that comes from lifestyle expansion lasts about 18 months. Then it becomes your new normal. The upgraded house stops feeling special. The nicer car is just a car. The excitement fades completely, but the financial cost compounds for the next 25 years. Real enjoyment isn't found in spending your peak decade. It's found in converting it into permanent freedom. The discomfort of restraint in your 40s lasts 10 years. The reward lasts 30. The pleasure of lifestyle inflation lasts 2 years. The cost lasts 30. You haven't earned the right to spend your peak decade. You've earned the right to use it. Those are two completely different things. Picture yourself at 68, quiet Tuesday morning. In one version, you're sitting with your coffee and you have nowhere to be. You're thinking about which family member you'll visit this month. There's a trip being planned. The account takes care of itself. You are not calculating anything. You are simply living. In the other version, you're running numbers again. Medication costs, a car repair you've been delaying. You haven't told anyone how tight it really is. You are 68 years old, and money is the first thought you have when you wake up. Both of those women made their decisions between 40 and 50. Both thought they were making reasonable choices. Both thought they had time. The decade passes either way. The only question is what you build inside it. If you're in your 20s or 30s, protect your future 40s self by building automatic retirement contributions now that you treat as completely non-negotiable. If you're entering your 40s, audit your budget this week. Housing, vehicles, contributions. Ask yourself honestly where the margin is actually going. If you're in your late 40s, every percentage point you add to your savings rate from here still matters. Don't let perfect be the enemy of better. If you're past your 40s, delay pension or retirement claims as long as possible. Look at whether your housing equity is working hard enough, and remember that small moves from here still compound more than you think. Wherever you are, stop treating retirement contributions as what's left over after life happens. Make them the first line. Everything else adjusts around that number. That one shift is the difference between Sadia's Tuesday morning and Amara's Tuesday morning. I'm Lyra. If this gave you clarity, share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'll see you in the next one.